What's up? Man, y'all won't believe what just happened, man. I set the live up. For 10:30. Dozed off. I went to sleep, man. I woke up like, oh shit. I ain't even never start the live. But we back. Can't know what it is. You Park Ice in the building. What's up, Davon? Don't do it, Eugene. Hey y'all, they didn't expose the Wack boy. The Wack boy has been exposed as a federal agent or federal informant. Man, see that boy active Chuck, man. Straight up. I wonder why I just still get a coffee for real. 2800. G man. Yeah, I posted went live half an hour ago, y'all. Fucking woke up. What's up? Yeah, make sure y'all type in that live from earlier too, man, if y'all didn't see that. What's up, homie? Fan Snake House. Yeah, Wack them people, man. They didn't caught his ass. Wack caught a case. Wack worked with them people for a long ass time. This case they talking about ain't even the same case I've been talking about. I mean, they ain't even dive into the case I've been talking about all this time. The gun case he caught when Greg Caden raided his house. This is the case he caught in Texas. That man caught a gun case in Texas that disappeared. And the reason why it disappeared is very strange. The reason as to why his case disappeared. But we gonna get into it. Then we got Young Thug made out. Judge cut him some slack. You know, she ain't really, I don't think she was really a fan of that prosecution. Rest in peace to Scooter. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Yeah, Wack caught a case in Texas. Yeah, see the Raw Dope podcast, man. Man, make sure y'all tap in the Raw Dope podcast, man. Long live Scooter, man. The Jug King, man. Fucking Jug King. What the fuck is this talking about?
Let's just address the elephant in the room, bro. Let's just cut the bull. Let's get straight into it.
What's the problem?
It's a big problem.
Yeah. One of the problems is this. You do an interview. You bring on a brother, and look like you brought the brother on to kind of like bash No Rap Cap podcast, if I had to say, because the stuff that needed to be asked was never asked. But the only thing that like far as like, you know, the dude getting down with the dude, like that wasn't ever brought up. And that was the big hype on, that's what everybody really wanted to see in an interview.
Man, fuck out of here. Man, my man Fox a Million said, yo, don't bring me on your podcast if you interview rats. Straight up. Y'all know who Fox, right? Fox used to fuck with what's it called? Boosie and them. I'll put y'all on with Fox if y'all don't remember who Fox is. And y'all get Q50 with Lil 50. Not Q50 with Lil 50. Bloodhound Q50. Yo, you know I tried to. So let me tell y'all what happened, right? Why he in the title. I tried to listen to that nigga album just to see what they was talking about. Man, that shit garbage. Hot trash. Like, who the fuck rides around listening to that?
What it do?
Man, they need to bring this type of music back, man. Man, you hear what Shorty saying? They're giving game the whole song. Could have been got murked from the church to the hearse to the dirt. Fuck wrong with him. Man, it's one of the, man, they need to bring this type of music back, man. That's what these kids need to hear. Real shit. Not this Q50. Man, wait till I show y'all. Wait till y'all hear this Q50 song, man.
Get your old lady first.
Classic. I forgot about that bitch. But let me show you what these little niggas rapping about now. Bloodhound Q50. Listen to this shit, y'all. So I turned this shit on, right? I say, I say DJ you goofball ass. There I go. I keep laying it. Nah, I ain't had to call him a goofball. But I seen DJ you post like, yeah, man, make sure you tap into Bloodhound Q50 new album. So I say, let me go ahead and check your album out. This shit is called Long Live My Brother. He probably killed your brother. This is the fuck that nigga the album called. Yeah, so hold up. So I tried to listen to one of the songs. The song I try to listen to. I don't even know the name of that bitch. I can just click any one of these motherfuckers. We can click this one. All these niggas talk about is killing. Shit phony. Nigga, these little niggas ain't gangster like that. They be the same little niggas get locked up, start telling on they motherfucking body. This is a shorty. Check him out.
Oh, fuck now. Gang shit. Oh, fuck now.
Now, who rides around listening to this?
You can catch me over east with the bloods up in the trenches. Smoking thunks the size of bunches. Popping person got me itching. Fuck the house, they ain't no shit. New 40 Glock, it got a switch. Jumping 50 in that bitch. I went through blue the whole club. Glock 19 with the cool kid. Rapid 5 when I blow. This bitch got a switch. When I'm shooting, get low. Better think I can't miss. I was going outside when we slide, we blend. Old ass nigga mad, he a goof, ain't no shit. Niggas hoes going.
Man, shit garbage. Them little niggas, man. Them little niggas out here playing, man. What's gonna happen? They gonna run across some real gangsters. They gonna spank them. I'm talking all that gangster shit, that music, man. That shit phony. Right. That shit is phony, man. Hot garbage. I don't even know why the fuck what's it called even post that shit. But Wack 100, y'all. I ain't really had too much to say about them little niggas other than that shit garbage, and I think he bluffing. That's why them little niggas be getting spanked like that. They out here bluffing, playing gangster. So Street News TV or Street TV, whatever the name of it, what's the name of this shit? Street Certified did a video going into Wack gun case that he caught that magically disappeared. Check this out.
What's going on? I'm Larry Hoover Jr. and I'm rocking with Street Certified News.
Appreciate it. This week, man, you know what I'm saying? With all this rolling 60 stuff going on and Big U,
What's up, James?
there's been a lot of people that have like kind of come out just more than us and have really had negative words for Wack 100 regarding his information and how he shares information and how it could potentially.
I don't even think they negative words. I think people just point out the obvious. It's obvious, yo. The niggas are fucking informant. Y'all gotta see it. Who was on that live earlier? Who was on that live earlier? Where we figured out, yo, this internet shit, yo, the feds tapped in this shit day fucking one. Day one. when they saying that the world was moving toward this content, Yo, they tapped in day one, man. Day one. Extort. What's up, Stories with V? Let's y'all tap in the Stories with V. Basically extorted the social media companies. Funneled their information. So what we're saying now is just a continuance or just the final result of what we saying back then. Go watch that live earlier if y'all didn't see that live earlier. They been tapped into social media. Been. Like 2007.
Be helping law enforcement. Wack 100 continues to claim that, you know, he's a street guy.
They used it. It was always used for a crime fighting tool. Remember I told y'all. Remember I told y'all how this shit worked. Yo, whenever it's a new anything, they gotta get in. Like, yo, it's mandatory. At least to them. You understand what I'm saying? They got to get in. And that's what they did early on. When they seen us moving toward the internet, they said, yo, we got to make sure we find out people and we got to get in this motherfucker. We got to infiltrate and we're going to extort. We're going to take information. We're going to do whatever the fuck we got to do to make sure that we can use this for our benefit. And that's what they did. Go look at that live earlier when I talked about Big U and Dirt. Yeah, yo. And what we're saying is the final result. This is what they've been working on since 2007. You know, it evolved. It started out with them just taking information, and now the finishing result is that, nah, we got our people on this internet. Our people are influencers. Our people are voices in the community.
Advised by street code,
and it's always to target the black community. Always. That's why I always say, like, yo, since when the federal government ever had the interests of the people?
Codes and street rules, but he always seems to find himself embroiled in situations where he's given a little bit too much information to law enforcement, or he's being treated a little bit too lenient by law enforcement. Although we're not really gonna get into the big shit, we might get into it a little bit later. We wanted to get into a 2006 gun case where Wack 100 and his brother, both convicted felons, were caught with seemingly an artillery of firearms. You know, shout out to Active Chuck's.
Man, see the Active Chuck, man.
We spoke to him later in the video. And he gave us some insight. This was all information that he collected directly from the county office down there.
They always target us,
so he'll talk to us about that later. In part one of the video, we spoke with Gangsta documentarian Al Prophet. In part two, we're really gonna break.
Nah, see, y'all, that's the thing, y'all. You gotta remember, they monetizing off of ignorance. You can't expect too much from ignorance, but ignorance. You know what I mean? You factor in ignorance with clout, you get this. You get people still going to Adam 22, even though they know what the fuck they got going on.
Down this 2006 gun case and how it coincidentally lines up with an older story that we told you guys about Wack 100 getting caught on wiretap with the Stutterbox, Liddell Rawls, Mark Stevens case and the Main Street Mafia Crips.
I don't even know.
So,
I don't really know too much about you.
It's all gonna come together, man. Trust me, it's crazy. So, hey, with no further ado, man.
I don't watch that.
Your boy Michelle Guapo, man. Street Certified News. April 16th, 2005. Safety trooper Darren Chase was on a routine patrol on Interstate 40 in Wheeler County, Texas, when he would pull over a 2005 Cadillac for driving 77 in a 70-mile-per-hour speed zone.
That was petty.
The driver, later identified as Cash McElroy Jones, stated that he was a truck driver and always ran about 5 miles over the limit. He also stated that he was en route to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a funeral. At some point during the traffic stop, the trooper would ask Cash Jones for permission to search his vehicle. After denying the request, K-9 units were called to the scene. During the search, troopers located a black rifle, black shotgun, a loaded black pistol, along with several clips and large amounts of ammunition for each gun. Following the recovery of the firearms from the vehicle.
Now, how the fuck did Wack get out of that? You know how much time they'd have gave me if I'd have got caught with that?
Cash Jones and his passenger, who would later go on to be...
Hey, Dev, yo, clout overrides common sense. I keep telling people that, yo. Clout overrides common sense. Clout overrides judgment. It's on the same level as envy, jealousy, hate. I mean, love. Like, it's that strong, yo. The urge to chase clout is strong.
Identified as his brother would be arrested, with both men being charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Soon after this arrest, he would be briefly placed on a Fed hold before posting a $10,000 bond. Once out of jail, Wack 100 would travel back to Los Angeles, where he would continue working with Death Row Records and Suge Knight. Only 2 years later, in January 2008, police would name Knight as one of the members of the mob Pyru Street Gang in a crackdown by authorities in the city of Compton. Despite his music industry connections and now managing Ray J and rapper The Game, Wack 100's name would be left out of the crackdown. In that same year, Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, would be caught on wiretap.
Yo, I told y'all, and this the part they missing. Wack 100 was used to get a line into Death Row. I've been saying that. That's what he was used for. Death Row was under investigation. Yo, after Tupac and Biggie murders, yo, Death Row was on the motherfucking chopping block. Then all the shootings and shit that happened behind, like, man, Death Row was under investigation and they used Wack.
Informing business partner Mark Stevens that the Main Street Mafia Crip leader Liddell Rawls was under investigation for the kidnapping and beating of Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. Liddell Rawls, who prosecutors said was the leader of the Main Street Mafia Crips gang, would be accused in a criminal complaint filed in February 2011 of directing members to kidnap, beat, and rob the victim, Robert Ross. CS2 Back would play a pivotal role in that case, both helping authorities connect the dots to Del Dog via the wiretap phone calls and eventually helping Main Street beat their case.
Let's play Stutterbox talking to Wack. That's what I'm trying to figure out, though, Box. Help me understand this, because me and you both know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Wack, listen, in the paperwork it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
call
call
take
Dog.
your call. I sent it to you.
I talked to Dog.
But he said he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call. But he said he wouldn't talk. Yeah, and Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
Mark
That's what
tried
you said.
to-
Going off of what
That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
Only 1 month after the indictment of the Main Street Mafia Crips, on March 9th, 2011, Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, would appear in Texas State Court to have his charges finally dismissed from that 2006 unlawful possession of a firearm case,
Hold on, let me
where he
go
was
back.
caught with multiple firearms. On March 9th, 2011, Cash Jones, aka Wack 100,
that's what you said. Going off of what
That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
only 1 month after the indictment of the Main Street Mafia Crips, on March 9th, 2011, Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, would appear in Texas State Court to have his charges finally dismissed from that 2006 unlawful possession of a firearm case, where he was caught with multiple firearms and ammunition. The stated reason for the dismissal was not lack of evidence or a violation of Wack 100's rights, as he claims, but based on the paperwork, Wack 100's gun case was dismissed in the interest of justice. So investigating this story,
In the interest of justice. That's why his case got dismissed, y'all. In the interest of justice. What the fuck does that mean? I never heard that shit in a day in my fucking life. Sounds like cooperating to me. I mean, it basically, what that sounds like to me is we dropped his case in the interest of another fucking case. That's what that means. In the interest of justice in another case. That's what that, I mean, what else could it mean? What else could it mean in the interest of justice?
we tapped in with our brother Deuce M's from Athlete Chucks, a very popular California-based media company. They really tapped into the streets. And, you know, Deuce M's, man, this is somebody who, when it comes to Wack 100, man, he's done extensive research on this guy. He really breaks down, you know, how Wack 100, you know, and why he concocted this whole improper search and seizure thing. So this is my question. So Wack has addressed this before, right? Because we know the story real. We got the paperwork. He can't dispute it. It's a real case. He really got caught with hella guns as a felon in Texas. With other people. And his brother was a felon, right? So it was two felons that got caught. Right. So has he ever explained how these charges got dropped? Because you sent me the paperwork and I see what it say, and it says in the interest of justice.
I see the video where he claims that it was dismissed for illegal search and seizure, right? Now, within that same paperwork that you got, I got that paperwork from the clerk of Wheeler County, Texas, the deputy clerk, old Debbie McLaughlin, right? And you probably can see that on the email, right?
Right.
To verify where I got it from. And there was a motion to suppress the evidence, which essentially argued fruits of a poisonous tree based upon the argument that this was an illegal search and seizure.
Right, I saw that. And the judge denied that.
Right. Now, Wack, I'm going to send you the thing where Wack is saying that's how his case got dismissed.
I get pulled over and the search happened in Texas, right? So immediately, that's why they had the Fed hold. They like, well, yeah, you know, he crossed the state lines, but you can't prove.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean, bro?
You can't prove none of that. How you know I didn't pick it up in Texas? If she found something. Wheeler County, there you go. Cass Jones, Wheeler County. Them motherfuckers. Hey, bro, shout out to Texas for having audio and video on the front of their squad cars. Because if I'd have been in Cali Beach, I'd have been fucked. I'd have had to take it. Hey, because they have to write the report based on the audio, the video and the audio.
Yeah.
Like if I'd have been to California, it'd have been my word against theirs, but an ex-con word against theirs on how they got it. Them niggas could have said they saw stuff on the back seat. They could have said all kind of shit. But because they had audio and video, that's what saved it.
Right. So basically, Wack is lying about why this case got dismissed, and we know that because we contacted the clerk in Texas. They sent the paperwork, and it clearly states that his motion to suppress was denied because the judge found that none of his rights got violated. They did the right kind of search, and this is what they found. So then when they had the right probable cause. So he didn't get that evidence suppressed. So then when I see the motion to dismiss and the judge grants it, and I see it's a list of all of these things that it could be.
Right.
And it's a lot of checked. You said what?
One of the boxes is checked.
Right, only one of the boxes is checked. But the things that it could be were surprising because it was like lack of evidence. Nope, that's not the problem. Illegal search and seizure. Nope, that's not the problem. Like I think it said something like the person had died or something. It was like a few different reasons why they would drop the case, and none of those things were X'd off except for this thing that they call in the interest of justice. What's your take on what does that mean when?
You say the evidence is insufficient? No. The defendant was sentenced in another case. The complaining witness has requested dismissal. The case will be refiled. The defendant is unapprehended. The defendant is deceased. The defendant has been granted immunity. Other in interest of justice.
A person get a case dismissed. Like what is in the interest of justice? What does that usually mean?
That was the first time I ever heard it, right? So in the interest of justice essentially means that the prosecution filed that motion to dismiss the case. So Wack 100's attorneys and Wack 100 had to convince the prosecution that it would be in the interest of justice that two ex-felons crossing
federal state lines, making it traveling interstate commerce, making it a federal case. That sending out that message is cool. It's in the interest of justice that we don't prosecute this dude, which is a far-fetched reach, right?
Especially in Texas, when for there's people that got 5 years for just weed in Texas.
Don't mess with Texas.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my other question. So, like you said, he's trafficking goods across state lines. Him and his brother are already convicted felons. Somehow, some way, they get their charges dropped. Why did this thing never go federal?
Right? The feds have put a fed hold on him off of the top. He admitted to the police in a statement to the trooper, Darren Chase, that dad came from California and he was going to pick up his mother for because she can't travel. But the dude, once Wack 100 says that he got a bail, his brother didn't get bail. They let him out first. He only had $180, but he had a black card. He says that a white man picked him up, him and his brother. But if the bail bond was closed until a couple days later, how did you? And then he said the airport was 50 miles away. He was transferred to Beaumont, the federal facility or some kind of holding facility in Beaumont. He was in jail for not just a night or overnight to the next day. He says 6-7 days later, he was still in jail on a hold, and that the feds came all the way to where he was at to tell him, and look, we don't want to pick up the case. Like, why would the feds come talk to you in person?
Right, they just wouldn't pick it up.
Or they would fax over information to the jail or to the district attorney in that city. Now, y'all can pick it up. We can't do it. Why did they have to come speak to you face to face and then you get a bail? You know what I'm saying?
And then they don't pick it up.
They give him a low ass.
So this was the interesting thing I'm gonna put in there, and it's gonna come with the story. Like I said, we working on the story. Within 1 month, so in my research, and this is a little spoiler, man. So you know what I'm saying? Within the research, that Main Street Mafia case, where Wack 100, we know by now, was caught on the wiretap. The indictment for that case was February 2011. That's when those guys got indicted. Now, they end up, the case getting dropped in June, but they got indicted in February 2011. Wack 100 got...
What was going on before that?
Huh?
But the case, see...
Yeah, the case started in 08. So, yeah, I know the case started in 08, and they was investigating it that whole time. Wack was caught on wiretap in 08, but they actually didn't file the charges to 2011.
Because Stutterbox went to jail.
Coincidentally, a month later, Wack 100 gets his Texas gun case dropped almost a month to the day in March of 2011. And
you did your calculations.
You can check the dates. I was going to say. You can check the dates. They indicted Bell Dog and Main Street Mafia Crips in February 2011 after a 3-year investigation or 4-year investigation. And a month later, Wack 100 got his gun case dropped in Texas.
It's your boy, Emerso Guapo, Street Certified News, the most reputable source for urban media.
Man, that man working, man. Look, and they ain't even get into the they ain't even get into this. God dang. They didn't even get into this part of the interview where when he admitted he got caught with a gun case and that case just disappeared. Like every time he get jammed up with something, the shit just disappeared. Motherfucker got a horseshoe up his ass. This story sounds bogus.
I guess Greg got some of the audio. Guess what Stutterbox was telling. Push was me and AD doing these Live Nation shows. So I was able to position Game on these shows, get him 6-figure numbers, put him on these shows. And from that, I just continued to grow and grow and grow and do other things for him. And Jimmy goes to jail. Interscope drops Game. And the mother company he signed to, which is Desperado Records, still have one more with him.
And
they're disgruntled with Game.
That man had butterfly on his face.
Which is KG. He expressed, his ill feelings, and I couldn't really say nothing about it because it was things that really had nothing to do with me, and I couldn't tell this man how to feel. But he was real about it. He said, Wack, if you take care of me and the business goes through you and it's your contract, I'll sign off and let the album go, but I got to get my same cut. So I was pretty much cut out of the deal because it's the only way it's going to happen. Right. So I took that lick. From that came Year the Wolf. Once we got that, put closure to that, then it was directly with me. And that's where you got documentary 2 and 2.5.
Okay. Is that why, like, on Jesus Piece, Baby calls, it says, this is the last one, and then your cash money?
Yeah, all that was supposed to happen.
Gotcha. Okay. Can you talk about the situation that you have that's ongoing with Stutterbox? I know Greg is working on getting us the either audio or the...
Yeah, I talked to...
and he never got the audio.
Reggie today. He said he'd been in talks with Greg. I guess Greg got some of the audio. I guess what Stutterbox was telling. It really not an ongoing thing.
Audio never got released.
I'm kind of like a victim, but I'm not. I survived it. But it just lets me know the route of the streets. Everybody in the streets knew that situation. Everybody in the streets watched that man go to CCB court on 7-8 of his homeboys and line them up and tell. I knew the inner workings of it because we was neighbors. So I knew when the car got shot up, I knew all that, what was going on. I just didn't know he had went to the police. I didn't know that I didn't know he was a working informant for the feds initially. And the feds, I believe, then referred him to LAPD, which was Greg Cadence. I was always a target.
You lying.
I didn't come to know about Greg Cadence.
Now look, he lying right here, y'all, because it's other videos where he say Death Row was the target, and we didn't went through this before. No, this old. We didn't went through this before. As he explains his story, it's going to become obvious that Death Row was the target. When Wack 100 sit down with the federal agent that Stutterbox put him on with, the first question the federal agent asked him was about Death Row. They used Wack 100 to infiltrate Death Row, man.
After my door was kicked in, my wife was handcuffed, and they took a bunch of my files down to the Wilshire building, the federal building, right? I guess the initial case, but what I understood was the investigation of the murder of Biggie Smalls, which was being handled on the Fed side. And I think the Feds kind of like joined forces with Greg Cadence, LAPD special units.
They always did.
Right, so
that's how it works.
I think a lot of federal funding and federal buildings and was being used, which I know to be true, because there have been times the Stutterbox would call me. Like one time, he called me to meet him at Stevie's on Ventura Boulevard, soul food place, right? So I get in there. I don't know, he got these 2 chicks with him, but Stutterbox always got women with him. He like, yeah, these 2 chicks, she from New Orleans and she from whatever they hear. They just want to holler at us, they cool. Some bad bitches, and I'm looking at Box like, all right. We order food. Box gets up, goes to the bathroom. When he goes to the bathroom, the one chick says from New Orleans says, yeah, we was here to buy 5 keys. But our connection, he went dark. Box tells us that, you deal with Suge. So I'm like,
Look,
what the hell should
you understand?
got to do with 5 keys, right?
If he was the target of the investigation, they wouldn't be asking about Suge. But then you find out that they found a firearm. This is something different than what we just watched. So he got the firearms case tossed out in Texas. Then you find out he got caught with a firearm in this case that just disappeared.
What the fuck do I got to do with 5 keys? But at the time, I'm not understanding what's going on. I said, look, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So I make my way to the bathroom. Instead of going left, I go right to valet. I get out of there. 15 minutes later, Box like, where you go? Because he didn't came back. Where you go? Man, I'm on my way home. Oh, bro, asking me something about 5 keys and Suge and all that. I don't know who you with, bro, but watch your back. I don't know what that's about. Now, what's shocking is, fast forward months later, I find a tracking device on my diesel. It's in the book. I let it find out what it was. I call my company. I'm thinking they put something on my diesel, trying to monitor my driving versus my logbook, right? And this my mechanic that still works down there today will verify this. I called him on the phone. Hey man, pissed off. Can you put something on my, on my truck? I don't know what you're talking about. Call local police department. Whole time, Craig Cadence is listening to the wiretap, so I guess they was able to see where I was at, call ahead. So when I called, the police department gave me this mumbo jumbo. Oh yeah, they've been doing that. The trucks in the area. Go ahead and take the box off. Leave it there. We're gonna be on the way. This, that, and other. I don't know about. I'm still in the dark, right? So this when the light came on. When they raid my home, they watch my wife take my kids to school, come back, they come in. They're running all through the house. They don't find it. They find a firearm that's registered to my wife, right?
They don't find nothing, but they find a firearm that's registered to my wife. Yo, that is a crime. Like, yo, you see how you just try to gloss over that? Yo, you are a convicted felon. I don't give a fuck that shit registered to your wife or not. That shit ain't supposed to be in the same house as Wack 100. He goes to jail for that. But somehow, some way, motherfucking he always find a way to slide through the cracks.
Craig thinks his leverage is, well, Wack lives in the house. He's an ex-convict, right? He's supposed to be around firearms. Little did Greg know that I'm not a resident of the state of California anyway. So I own like 7, 8 houses at the time.
That shit means nothing.
Matter of fact, at that time, I had about 12.
That don't mean nothing.
I was heavy in real estate. Yeah. So they took a bunch of my files. I go down there where I think my attorney was Jeffrey Brody at the time. Tell Brody to meet us at the Wilshire District.
Yo, he tells this to people that don't know. Wack 100 is good at talking to people that don't know about the system. He good with words. He can trick you with wordplay. But if you know about the system, man, they not trying to hear that shit. I don't give a fuck how many houses you own. We found a gun in this house. You reside here. You're not supposed to be around firearms. You're going to prison. Simple and plain. You know what I mean? All that's little side talking he doing, none of that matters in reality. And people don't play like that. They predatory.
Greg and his partner. But this what fucks me up. When we come off the elevator, I see a bunch of people in FBI flag jackets. Guess who one of the persons I see? The fucking female from New Orleans that asked about the 5 keys. So let's get deep into what he talking about. Yeah. Right? And he was already working with the feds on whatever he been working on with dealing with everybody in LA County.
See, y'all, and that's another thing, too, that people is getting confused. This is 2 different investigations. You got the investigation of Stutterbox and the insane Crips and all that shit we just learned about. And you have another investigation going on with Death Row, which they use Wack 100 for. But he confuses people by tying it all together, and it's not the same. The reason they was after Wack ain't have shit to do with what Stutterbox had going on.
From the understanding with my attorney and Greg, they didn't know Box Box was sent to them by the feds. So the question
I don't even know
everybody
if that
asks
shit.
is,
I don't
what
know
was he
about
already
that.
doing with the feds? He was already working with them. It's documented.
Dirk was under federal
Right?
investigation
So
at that
when
time.
I came
Chelsea.
up and I seen the chick, because she was real
That's why
fine,
Dirk ain't go to jail.
like Creole style girl, right? I said, damn, that's the one. That's when the light came on. But it still hadn't registered. I still don't know at this time. I'm telling myself, oh shit, I want to Box know this motherfucker's the feds. I still ain't put it together. So when we sit down, my attorney go to talk, threaten to file a harassment suit. You know, I live in a gated community. You to kick this dude's door in, embarrassment, this, that, other, this, that,
He fucked up the story again. Listen to him. Listen to how he fucked up the story and then try to backtrack. He talks about how his attorney talks about a lawsuit, but then when he sit back with Greg Caton, listen to what he said.
And he was already working with the feds on whatever he been working on with dealing with everybody in LA County. From the understanding with my attorney and Greg, they didn't know Box. Box was sent to them by the feds. So the question everybody need to ask is, what was he already doing with the feds? He was already working with them. It's documented, right? So when I came off and I seen the chick, because she was real fine, like Creole style girl, right? I said, damn, that's the one. That's when the light came on. But it still hadn't registered. I still don't know at this time. I'm telling myself, oh shit, I want to Box know this motherfucker's the feds. I still ain't put it together. So when we sit down, my attorney go to talk, threaten to file a harassment suit. You know, I live in a gated community. You to kick this dude's door in, embarrassment, this, that, other, this, that, and other, this, that. We still don't know what basis they had for that. Yeah. It doesn't come out till we're pressing about this lawsuit until we get to the bottom. And they have a talk with my attorney like, look, man, we need him to drop that lawsuit. You know, things that happen between then. I've been pulled over leaving Encore Studio, Game Studio. Right?
You tell you
Searched, cuffed up, ran through my car, didn't find nothing. I go to Burbank Police Department. I memorized the license plate number of the vehicle. So y'all made to file a complaint, harassment, this, that, and other. Got my attorney on the phone, this, that, and other. Right? You can go pull this shit up. I'm pretty sure it's a case number.
No, you can't.
Right?
You can't pull none of this shit up.
They're like, I give them the license plate to the vehicle. They said, don't make sense. That's definitely LAPD vehicle, not ours. They offer offers like off of San Fernando in the LA area. Go to this address. I get to the address. I'm in there like talking my shit to the whoever the watch commander is. And they like, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, y'all just left Burbank. This license plate is registered to your police department. They pulled me out, searched my vehicle without my consent. At this time, I'm oblivious to this shit. All this is Box. Right? They trying to catch me dirty. Right? Guess what walks in?
They already caught him dirty. They already caught him dirty, man. I told y'all that's how they do anyway. When they trying to catch you, that's what they're going to do. They're going to pull you over. They already caught him dirty, but somehow the gun case disappeared. This is the second gun case that he got that disappeared.
In the door. The two fucking officers. It's like 2 in the morning. I said, that's them right there. Even Greg says, he's like, yeah, you was a different type of animal because who memorizes a license plate number? Right? So I didn't know until Greg was like, look, man, you got this lawsuit on us. We don't know nothing the fuck about you. We don't want to know nothing the fuck about you. And I think Greg had made his mind up, because I don't know what it went in previously, that he had it with Stutterbox. So he told me, like, yo, this dude right here is the one put us on you, this, that, another. I'm in shock. Because I'd never had discussions with Stutterbox about my trucking business, what I did. He would always call and tell me, yeah, my homeboy Baldhead, some dude named Baldhead. My homeboy Baldhead drive trucks. But what, he don't make no money like that. He's still struggling to do this, that, and other. So I think in his head, he like, how this dude living behind the gate with me? He got Mercedes Benzes, his kid is going to private school. Like, I think in his head, like, okay, I know he do business with Suge. He put together his own little thing and says, he's asking, where you going? Oh, down there by TJ. But it's a city called National City where the car carrier boats dock. Yeah. So we load Bentley, Porsche, Toyota, Mazda, all that's loaded down there. Right? And he was like, where you headed? Oh, man, I'm going northwest. It was a great run. Run played like 15, 16,000. Great run, right? So I think he put all this in his head that, because he knows some truck drivers, he would always reference some dude named Ball here from his neighborhood. I don't know the dude. Man, he don't make that kind of money, so I think in his head, he's like, this dude doing something. And he fed him. He didn't even snitch, he lied snitch. That's a different kind of snitching. Because you fat.
Now he trying to make himself the target again. But we know he wasn't the target. Death Row was the target. You understand? You see how he's telling this story, and it's all over the place. He wasn't the target, man. He was just the person that they can use to get to the target, because they was investigating Death Row for criminality. Death Row had active gang members involved. Death Row was involved in, allegedly. It was people in Death Row that they wanted for murders and shit. And they seen Wack as the weak link, as the truck driver, and they flipped this dumbass. It's a bitch. Basically, that's what I'm trying to explain to people. He's a bitch. The fucking police officer, man. That's why he's all live doing the shit that we doing now. If you backtrack to the live we did earlier, where I showed y'all the role that social media, since we got more people, we might gotta go back and watch that video again and just see how the feds infiltrated social media from the beginning. From the beginning. We're gonna go back to that.
Fabricated some shit and then told it to the police and put them on me. Right? And that's there it came. But Reggie told me working on getting some tapes and stuff, because he's very adamant about what he did or didn't do. Everybody in Los Angeles, the fact that he can sit there with Spotted Logan and whoever this other little dude is that don't know how to talk, I don't know this little dude. And they say, yeah, we know you told on the homies, but that's cool. He says nobody went to jail. Well, I'm confused. In CCB court, them 7 dudes got on the county jail bus and got transported to downtown and came out of the back in LA County jail jumpsuits. They fought that shit down there 9 months. What does he mean nobody went to jail? They was in jail for this case that you pointing the finger at them on. Right? What you mean? The only reason why they beat prison is because they was able to line you up, make you perjure yourself on the stand, and claim you wasn't a fucking informant, and in walks Greg Cadence, which I orchestrated that with Mark Stevens and my attorney. The old me one came from that. You dropped the shit, we dropped the shit. I used it for that to help a certain individual out. I called my attorney, had the attorney put Greg Cadence and Mark Stevens together. They put that together to ads box on stand. If you go pull the paperwork, have you ever been a confidential informant to work for the LAPD, the FBI as a known snitch? He lied on the oath and said no. Greg Cadence takes a stance, provides a document that this dude is in fact one of our informants, this, that. At that point, the judge looks at it. He perjured himself. Therefore, any allegations or any claims he's bringing on anybody is non and void. They dropped the charges on these 7 Crips and let them go. So in a sense, this Paul Roof freed the Crips.
Man, get the fuck out of here.
You know my
ain't free no motherfucking Crips, nigga. Your bitch ass is working too. Stutterbox is working and he was working. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about though, yo. Y'all need to see this shit if you haven't seen it. Excuse me. Dang. Let me show y'all something. We watched this earlier. But it just shows y'all how the feds infiltrated social media from the beginning. From early on. Like, the fix was in. We're going to watch like 5 minutes of it.
On an iPhone. And as soon as he saw the iPhone,
phone records of some
British
businesses.
newspaper to uncover how the
it was just the big tactic was one that
look at how these people infiltrated social media from the very start. from the very start, man. So what we saying now with these Fed agents like Charleston White and all them motherfuckers, that shit was just it was just waiting to happen. It evolved over time. It started off with this, and then you see what we got now. We got agents actively on YouTube.
Okay, come and see us.
Thanks,
Let's
Lord.
talk
Thanks,
about
Jack.
this, and you can chat to our officials, and we can discuss, what might be published and what might not.
Janine has her own script, which is to say, look, if you have any
significant
objections on the grounds of national security, then tell us. Now is the moment to tell us. And of course they don't. They just want to
You heard what he said?
The Guardian.
You heard what he said? Greg Caden thought he had leverage because he found a gun in the house. That's definitely a crime, bro.
Used to wait.
British newspaper The Guardian reports that Verizon is providing phone records of some
British
businesses.
newspaper to uncover how the It was just the beginning. Spying on Americans At the Washington Post, reporter Barton Gellman, the only other reporter to receive documents directly from Snowden, was working on another story.
Listen to this shit.
Before publishing, he contacted the NSA.
I sent notes to 2 high-ranking people and a spokesperson in government and said, I have something very sensitive to talk to you about.
The story concerned another NSA program called PRISM. Documents showed how beginning in 2007, 9 internet companies were cooperating with the NSA.
Look at this. YouTube started doing it in 2010. Skype in 2011. Yo, they use the internet as a crime fighting tool. So this was 15 years ago. So you can just imagine how advanced they got with it.
Gellman wanted to make sure his reporting wouldn't damage national security.
We very much did want to know what they thought would do concrete harm and how and why. And the U.S. government asked me not to publish the names of the 9 companies that were supplying information to the government in the PRISM program. And I said, why? Their argument was that if we published the names, then the companies would be less inclined to cooperate. And I guess we agreed to disagree on that one.
The Washington Post is reporting that the
Post went ahead.
FBI are mining the servers of 9 leading U.S. internet.
The PRISM revelations reached beyond the collection of phone records.
Spying on its own citizens.
This was about the acquisition of content of tens of thousands of
Look at
NSA
that word, y'all.
targets.
Did you check your account on Gmail? Secret spying program is entirely different.
The PRISM program is not about metadata, it's about content. It's photos and videos you send, it's the words of your emails, it's the sounds of your voice on a Skype call, it's all the files you have stored on a cloud drive service. It's content, it's everything.
Content. It's all content, right?
Was on a fundraising trip in Silicon Valley.
That's what Wack said. You got the
At a press
content.
conference, he agreed to take one question about the leaks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to take one question. I don't want the whole day to just be a bleeding press conference, but I'm going to take Jackie Holmes' question.
Mr. President, could you please react to the reports of secret government surveillance of phones and internet? And can you also assure Americans that the government, your government, doesn't have some massive secret database of all their personal online information and activities?
Yeah. What the intelligence community is doing is looking at phone numbers and durations of calls. They are not looking at people's names, and they're not looking at content.
The president tried to downplay the revelations.
Now, with respect to the internet and emails, this does not apply to U.S. citizens, and it does not apply to people living in the United States. In the abstract, you can complain about Big Brother and how this is a potential,
What is the vice president of the end?
program run amok. But when you actually look at the details, then
in Hong Kong, Snowden was sitting with 3 people under contract from The Guardian. They were sitting there on the bed, watching the reaction on CNN.
Not looking at people's names, and they're not looking at content.
Obama was saying the NSA isn't listening to the telephone calls or reading the emails of Americans, which is
Man,
absolutely
that's
wrong.
Texas, man.
There were documents that we had that proved that President Obama's claims in that regard were false. And we just could tell as well that he, at that moment, didn't have any idea of the true magnitude of what was coming, given how dismissive and casual his tone was.
Thank you very much, guys. That's it.
Snowden now decided to make a bold move. He would reveal his identity, posting a video he had recorded a few days earlier.
Laura set up the camera. Glenn was asking the questions.
Yo.
And normally Snowden wore a t-shirt, and Glenn says, "Can you not find a shirt?" And Snowden went off and found the grey shirt.
My name's Ed Snowden. I'm 29 years old.
Yo. Now, if y'all don't think, after watching this, that it's federal informants or this internet posing as YouTubers, then, hey, I don't know what else to tell you. It's obvious. And this is stuff that we've been talking about for the longest time. I've been trying to explain to y'all how this shit works. It's all about controlling the narrative. You got this rise in internet. They got to get in front of it. To them, they call it a national security risk. You know what I mean? To them, it'd be a risk of national security if they let it get out of hand without getting in first. But what they did was they turned it into a fucking a prison, not a prison, but they turned this shit into a fucking police tactic, a police tool. That's what they did. But Judge Paige Whitaker denies motion to revoke Young Thug's probation. That was a more detailed one than this. Hold on. I seen the detail one that went in detail. As to why they decided to it said, upon consideration of the states of April 2nd, 2025 motion to revoke defendant's probation, which alleges a violation of terms and conditions of defendant probation for having posted a picture of a particular law enforcement officer with the caption "Biggest lie in the DA office," and defendant's April 3rd response thereto, and having reviewed the terms of condition of defendant's probation imposed by the court declines to revoke defendant's probation based on a violation asserted. I ain't gonna lie, Young Thug dodged the bullet. He dodged the bullet for real. I can't even see that shit. That shit too damn small. Let's see if they did story on it. Yeah, white folks, yo, they've been putting that play in motion for a long time. Oh shit, what the fuck this about? They've been putting that play in motion for a long time, y'all. Now we saying the finishing results. It's resulting in indictments. RICO charges.
All right, the woman accused of making a fake 911 call before the death of rapper Young Scooter has been granted a $7,500 bond. Right now, Demetra Spence remains behind bars in a Fulton County jail. In addition to the bond, the judge ordered Spence to stay away from the scene and witnesses. Atlanta police say they just could not confirm the reports made on the 911 call. Spence was arrested after being identified as the 911 caller. The caller claimed that there were armed men at the house, at a home in Lakewood Heights, and say she saw a naked woman being dragged inside. The Fulton County medical examiner says Young Scooter's, whose real name is Kenneth Bailey, died from an injury to his leg, which likely he got from trying to jump a fence. Bailey's family released a statement saying, in part, Young Scooter was more than just a hip-hop artist. He was a phenomenal father and mentor to a lot of Atlanta's youth. Here now to examine the case is former Fulton County prosecutor Daryl Cohen. He's also he's currently a criminal defense attorney. Welcome back to the show, Daryl.
Good morning. Thanks so much. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Give us your initial take on this bizarre case.
It is so bizarre that it's unthinkable, but I want you to be aware that I also was a victim of swatting after I did a piece for you guys. So I'm well familiar with it. What happens? Somebody makes a call, says there's a terrible crime taking place at this particular address. The police normally respond in force because if it's that bad, they're going to be there in force to try and stop it.
Remember I said
and
that.
What happens?
That's why they ran like that.
The police arrived. Two gentlemen left through the back door and ran. Why they ran, we may never know. But as a result of them running, we have one person deceased because he ran, he hurt himself or cut his foot, cut his leg on a fence, and he died. This is what makes it terrible. Not the fact that there's a phone call. Who cares? No big deal. But when that phone call turns into a law enforcement presence, when that phone call turns into someone or some people, in this case, running, some people can get hurt, they can get murdered, they can get killed. And in this case, someone was obviously killed as a result of that swatting call. And by the way, it's not only a felony in Georgia, it is also a felony in the United States. There's a federal law about swatting as well.
How severe can the penalties be with this?
They can be several years in prison.
Wow.
And I think what happens is most people who make these calls don't think about it. It's just, I'm going to get even, I'm mad, I'm unhappy, whatever it may be. And they don't think about tomorrow and tomorrow's tomorrow. It's the law of unintended consequences. And as a result of that, they get arrested, they get indicted, they get prosecuted, and at some point they enter a plea of guilty or they are going for a trial by jury. And in all likelihood, they'll be found guilty, and then they're looking at incarceration.
So tell us, if you were the prosecution on this case, how would you approach it?
I would, one, look at the victim, he's dead. I would, two, look at the defendant and see, does she have a previous record? Is she 19, 20, 25, 40, whatever it may be? Does she have a record of doing anything else? If this is what I call an OTO, or one time only, I would prosecute her and probably recommend a little bit of jail time, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and that's it. But if she has a record for doing anything else that's really out of what she should be doing, whatever that record may be, then I would increase my recommendation. But you don't want the recommendation to be so high as to ask for a trial by jury, because that takes up so much time, and in this type of situation, it ought to be worked out.
Quickly, give me your perspective from this. Okay,
this is what this is all about after the death. You want to send a message to people. You don't do this.
Gotcha.
I don't care how upset you are. I don't care how mad you are or how cute you think it is. It isn't.
Give me your take from the defensive side, right? If you were the defense attorney, how would you handle it?
I would say to her, KYD, BMS, keep your damn big mouth shut. Let me do the talking. I would say she didn't mean anything by it. She was upset. Maybe that was her ex-boyfriend. Maybe she just was unhappy. She didn't mean for anything bad to happen. She wanted to teach them a lesson. So let's mitigate it. And I would bring it down. I would have people in her behalf testifying if necessary, providing statements otherwise.
Man, fuck outta
So
here.
she's a good person.
I don't know what the fuck she expected from that call. Like, that call was disgusting. Hey, Romeo, you ain't hear the call? That call was ridiculous, man. Where the fuck that shit at? The whole 911 call. Oh shit. I ain't at the right spot. The 911 call was ridiculous. You thought that was real, bro? You can tell it was full of shit.
If I put acupuncture near me in online maps,
Man, the police shouldn't even send nobody to that fucking call, man. But I know they got a job to do. I wouldn't. If I was dispatched, I wouldn't have sent nobody there. yeah, we got law enforcement on the way. I'd have hung up like, this bitch think we stupid. Send nobody. I ain't wasting our time. We got real crime out here.
Atlanta 911 operator 8715. What is the location of your emergency?
The location is with the transfer. 1 second, ma'am, for 273 William Nye Drive, Southeast.
273 William Nye?
Yeah.
No, it's 273 William. Oh, you said Nye, NYE, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you to cab. Hello, caller.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Do you need police, fire, EMS?
Actually, both. If you consider both. There was literally a shooting. The house, literally the neighbors next door, the house of the address that I just gave you, the 273. There is literally a whole domestic dispute going on. There's like 7 guys that live in this house. And
What's your
then,
name?
I'm sorry, what is my name?
Okay. Tell me exactly what happened.
Okay, so I'm the neighborhood watch, and basically, like I said, these guys they're like selling drugs in and out of the house. All you see is guys coming in and out of the house with guns and stuff. They hold the guns in the air, and then it's like, I'm not sure if they're pimping, but it's the situation that's going on right now. This girl doesn't have a
bitch. Like, yo, that shit just sound fucking crazy. They holding guns in the air. They just walking around with guns in the air. And they pimping. Like, man, shit crazy. She gonna catch a break, though. You know, it's only but so much time you can give her for this shit.
In a court filing last night, she took steps to send him back to jail and have his probation revoked. The Grammy-winning rapper was the YSL trial's highest-profile defendant before he pled out on Halloween night. Fox 5's Tyler Finger is live at the Fulton County Courthouse with the details. Tyler?
Yeah, Courtney, good evening to you. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis alleges that rapper Young Thug violated his probation. Her argument centers around a social media post. In a court filing of their own, Young Thug's attorneys are now firing back. A multi-year legal drama ended last October for Atlanta rapper Young Thug after 3 words. I plead guilty. On Halloween, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker sentenced Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, to 15 years of probation along with several conditions. But Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis filed this motion Wednesday night to get it revoked, calling him a danger to public safety. The 14-page filing revolves around social media posts. Megan Grout, who is a longtime criminal defense attorney not affiliated with the case was shocked to read it.
You can't revoke someone's probation because you don't like what they've said.
According to the document, the DA alleges Williams' social media conduct has put the lives of a DA investigator and others in danger since his sentencing. One of her examples is a post from this week that has since been deleted, where he called the investigator, quote, biggest liar in the DA office, along with her picture. Willis says the investigator and her family have received threats and doxed on social media after the post. There was also an assassination threat made against DA Willis.
He is entitled to have an opinion and he's entitled to express it. What happened was other people then saw what he had expressed and took it to the next level.
Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele fired back in a court filing. He called the allegations baseless. He wrote, quote, Mr. Williams can admit to all of the allegations alleged and still not have violated any term of his probationary sentence, end quote. In a social media post, Young Thug says he doesn't make threats and would never condone threatening anyone.
The district attorney's office of Fulton County cannot put people in jail because they don't like what that person said. They have to follow the law just like the rest of us do. And that motion does not follow any law that I can find.
And about an hour ago, Judge Paige Reese Whitaker issued her order saying that Young Thug would not have his probation revoked. In the order, she writes, quote, while the court does not find that the cited social media post rises to the level of a violation of defendant's probation, it may be prudent for defendant to exercise restraint regarding certain topics, end quote.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, he better learn from that shit because you see what's going on. Fannie Willis is out to get Young Thug, and she ain't gonna stop. This is not gonna be, I promise y'all, yo, this is not gonna be the last time we see her file paperwork try to get that man bar revoked. I mean, that man probation revoked. She on bullshit. Good thing the judge ain't bad. Said it was without merit. But that shit crazy, man. I ain't gonna be live all day today. I'm kind of tired for real. I just want to show y'all Wack 100 is a Fed informant. Yeah, I know. I think she mentally scarred or something, man. Like she coming after them boys vigorously in Atlanta. She must be trying to run for Congress or something. That's what it is. She trying to run for Congress. Yeah, for real. That's what I say too. I ain't doing 15 years probation. I ain't doing 15 years probation. It's a long ass time to be on probation, y'all. Long ass time. But that's what they do down there. You know, a lot of they get us shit. They be giving 20 years probation and shit like that. I see a kid with a dude got 20 years probation for a murder. I don't know if it was first degree, but one of them, I think it's one of them 4 PFDs. I just want people to understand with this social media, this shit is real. These guys are working actively. You don't know who the fuck these people are, man. Don't know. They could be CIA, they could be FBI, they could be, you don't know who the fuck they is, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't taking that. I think when it comes down to Wack, though, most people realize Wack working. Like he can't talk his way out of this. Wack working, Bruce Cannon working, Adam 22. I don't know if he working directly or indirectly, but he's working. But the problem is, like I told y'all, clout overrides judgment. People gotta understand that when you see these guys keep going up to them platforms, knowing the danger that they putting themselves in, you gotta understand you're dealing with ignorance. You gotta understand that clout overrides common sense. Just does. I don't know how clout rose to that level, but it did. It rose to the level of hate and jealousy. Shit crazy. Shit crazy. Shit, I can't even say that. It ain't just kids. Shit, it's grown ass adults clout chasing. Grown ass adults. They in their 40s. Look at Charleston White. Charleston White down there 50. Clout chasing like a motherfucker. Right, he working too. He working. All you gotta do is pay attention to how these guys move. And pay attention to what they get away with versus what other people don't get away with. You know what I mean? Wack 100 impeded the investigation the whole time with this Big U case. Never went to jail. Never charged. He impeded the whole investigation from the start to the fucking finish. No charges. Yeah, you right. They ain't got no age limit. Shannon Sharp chased clout when he released that fake ass video. And he ain't even gotta do it. Like, shit crazy, man. We just living in some wild times. It is a new crack in the 80s. I don't know if we can stop it even. I think this shit then progressed so much. It's like you can't even stop it now. That shit just it took a fucking form of its own. You know, telling what we gonna see next. Shit crazy. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Know what you watching. Know who you supporting. Cause your favorite YouTuber might be working with them people, man. I'm trying to tell you. Your favorite YouTuber might be working with them people, man. It's not a game. I showed y'all how long they've been, planning this since the very beginning. Since the onset of the internet. They've been planning to infiltrate. They've been planning to manipulate. They've been planning to get their people in. And 2025, here we are. Yeah, man. Indict this old Dirk. Indict this old Big U. Sue Surf. K-Fly. Who else? Young Thug. You mean? Hood Rich Pablo Warren. Like we can go on and on and on. And everything is stemming from social fucking media. If you go back to that live I did earlier, where I played that whole video, man, they go way more into detail than what I just showed y'all today. They go way more in detail. And it shows you how they did this shit. They was putting splitters in the rooms where some of the information went to the internet and other information went straight to the fucking face. And all the social media companies was doing it. They still doing it. Like, they probably gotta do it more. They probably got all the information they need. I'm gonna tell them what they got, man. I'm tell them what they got, yo. And they called it content. Ironic, as it may seem, they called it content back then. I didn't even know that content word was around in 2007. It was always about content. Now I understand why people was using that word like how they're using it now, because that's what it is. Content was designed to send people to fucking prison. You feel me? Like that's what it was designed to do, man. It was designed to get people arrested, send people to prison. It's content. I thought they was misusing the word. Nope, they used that shit correctly. They used that shit correctly, y'all. Big U and I think it's called If You Think Big U and Lil Durk Gangsters Wait Till You Look. Watch this. And I was showing you how United States government operate. How dirty they get, when they want you. When they deem you a threat to national security. And you're an American citizen. And people get low down and dirty, man. It's for real. Like you talk about this shit that we see in the streets, man, they take it to a whole nother level. Whole nother level. That's why when you evaluate them situations, I be like, man, come on, man. Like, come on, you want to talk about crimes. T-Rail was not that simple. It's not that simple, yo. When you place some monetary value to it, you say the right thing, you can make a couple of dollars. It's not that simple, yo. Like, yo, people gotta stop looking at that situation like it's that cut and dry. Yo, just look at your favorite. Look at YouTube. How many YouTubers aren't chasing clout? Like, I'm talking about chasing that bitch, will do anything. Versus the ones that's like me. I'm going to give you the news. I'm going to give you my perspective. I might lean on a few people. This is how I really feel. Like, I ain't doing that shit because I'm making shit up. Like, a lot of these guys, they just say shit. They don't even mean it. Everything I say, I mean. When I say Wack is the agent, I mean that shit. When I say Charles White the agent, I mean that shit. Like, I'm not playing. You'll never see me interview him. Or sit next to him. Because I don't want that. I don't know. We ain't doing that. I ain't saying that's no fucking Fed agent. But that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on, man. But shit, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We ain't gonna be live. I'm tired for real. Y'all gotta get myself together. Gotta get some rest tonight. Make sure you support the platform, man. Cash at Baltimore Swag. It's another day. Keep it G News. And I'm out.